sitting here today with our Spanish teacher, Ms. Zasky, who was one of the original teachers at Emerson Middle School. We'd like to know more about her life outside of school. We have prepared some questions for you about your hidden talents and personal story.
First question, what was the first language that you learned? Was it English or Spanish?
Oh, it was definitely English. I didn't start learning Spanish until I was actually in middle school, so I was actually older than all of you were because you guys all mostly started in elementary school.
And do you think your life would have been different if you had learned Spanish before English?
Probably, but there really isn't anybody in my family who speaks Spanish. My husband does now and my son does now because of me, basically, but I don't have any Spanish-speaking background or relatives. It was just something that I started in middle school and I really enjoyed, and I just wanted to learn more and learn how to read in the language and speak in it, so I just kept going with it.
Interesting.
Are there any specific moments that inspired you to become a teacher?
I don't know if there were specific moments per se, but I had an amazing teacher in high school, and she was a mom, and she had 2 kids who were younger than us at that point, and I thought she really made us love the language, and I thought that if she could do it and be a teacher and do it so well and still have a family and have everything else, that would probably be a really neat thing to do.
Okay.
Do you have any hidden talents you would like to share with us?
Hidden talents. I was thinking about this one when you were asking me before. I have hobbies. I don't know if I would call them talents per se. I guess speaking a language is probably a talent. I started learning Italian a while ago. I don't know that I remember much of it, but we were planning a trip to Italy, and I just decided that I wanted to go sounding like I knew what I was talking about instead of trying to sound like I was speaking Italian with a Spanish accent, which is not good. I have hobbies. I enjoy going to yoga practice. I love gardening. I don't know if I would call them talents, though.
Yeah, I know, like, in past times when we went to Mexico, like, before I was, like, really good at Spanish, we, like, I tried to, like, learn more and, like, so I could, like, sound like I actually knew what I was talking about.
It gives you a different experience, right? I mean, people mostly speak English wherever you go, and they're really nice to everybody, but if you make the slightest effort to try to speak to people in their native language when you're traveling, you get a completely different experience. They just, their whole face lights up, and they just get really excited and appreciate the fact that you're trying, even if it comes out sounding like a hot mess. Like, you know, me in Japan, it was just really a hot mess, but there was a lot of bowing and smiling that resulted, so I guess I was at least making the effort.
Did you pick up, like, Italian quickly, like the language?
Yeah, it was pretty easy because Italian and Spanish are very, very similar, but the pronunciation is different. So in the beginning, when I started the class, it was kind of hard because we were taking a college class, so it was a whole semester of college classes, but squished into 3 weeks. So it was, you know, three plus hours of class a day, and then I had to go home and study for 3 hours, and then I would have a test every single day. And at the beginning, I started confusing Spanish with Italian. So the professor kept saying, "No lo spañolo, señora, lo italiano," everything that I was saying. And the other people in the class didn't have that problem because most of them were learning Italian as their language, and they didn't have experience in other languages, so they would just kind of slip in English if they didn't know, and I was slipping in Spanish. But eventually I got it straight. It just took a lot of practice. And then we went to Italy, and I actually spoke with people, and they seemed to look like I knew what I was talking about. So it worked out pretty well.
Okay, next question. Do you have any pets or kids?
I have one of each, actually. I have a miniature poodle named Bentley, and he's actually getting pretty old right now. He's getting almost 14, but still bouncy and kind of crazy. Very smart. Too smart, actually. And I have a 27-year-old son named Alex, who is actually a mechanical engineer and working on his master's.
That's really cool.
And he speaks Spanish.
What college is he getting his master's at?
He's getting his master's at Northwestern. He got his undergrad at Northwestern. And the Spanish really helped him with one of his jobs. He was actually, in the middle of the pandemic, he was actually working at the Abbott laboratory up in Gurnee that manufactures the COVID tests, and he was in charge of making sure that the assembly line functioned, and if anything broke, he had to be the one who was working with the actual mechanics to find out what was wrong with it and keep the system running. And he was on this really weird shift that went from sometime in the night until like 2 in the morning, but all of the workers on the assembly line spoke Spanish. They spoke English too, but it was just really easier for him to speak with them in Spanish, so it all just kind of came right back to him. It is useful in the real world, guys.
And what's your favorite place that you've traveled to?
That's such a hard question.
Have you traveled to a lot of places?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to count, because when you gave me this set of questions, I was trying to think about it, and it's probably been somewhere between 20 and 30 different countries at this point. I can pick my top 3. Is that okay, or is that cheating?
Yeah,
That's okay. Okay, in no particular order, I would say Japan, because of the food and the culture, even though I couldn't speak Japanese at all. It was amazing. And we saw everything from like 300-pound tunas at the fish market to actual monkeys in the wild, swimming in a hot spring on top of a mountain. Just really bizarre. And then Tokyo is the most insane, crazy, crowded, busy city you could ever imagine. That was amazing. Argentina was fantastic. One of your classmates, his family there. Yeah. It's such a big country that it's so completely different. Buenos Aires is a really elegant, formal city. It's a lot like Paris, and it's very elegant. It has a lot to offer. But then when you can go to the rainforest and see monkeys walking in front of you and all kinds of crazy animals that you wouldn't see in other places. And then you go to Patagonia, and we hiked on a glacier. So the packing was crazy because we had to have things for completely different climates and scuba gear and waterproof stuff for the rainforest. It was just, well, we didn't scuba in the rainforest, obviously, but in a scuba gear for another place we went to, and it was just really, really amazing to be able to do so many different things in one country. But it's so big that you have to fly from one place to another. You can't take a train or drive or anything. And then Spain, of course, because it's Spain. Barcelona is my favorite city. It's not like the rest of Spain at all. It's very unusual, and the food is totally different. But, yeah.
And then have you gone to those countries that you love multiple times, or is it just like the first time and you love it?
Been to Spain multiple times. The Japan and Argentina was just once, but we're thinking about going to Japan in October, maybe next year. We'll see. But yeah, the world is just so huge that to go back to the same place, I feel like I want to go back to the same places that I've been that I really loved, but there's so many other places I haven't seen yet that it's a hard choice.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question, you kind of answered it earlier, but do you have a favorite out of the hobbies you mentioned?
I would probably say gardening because it's so relaxing.
So do you like a garden at your house that you...
Yeah, we have different areas in the yard that I've planted different things and stylized differently, but I just find it really relaxing to just get in there and get dirty. Plus, it's really rewarding to start something out really small and then just kind of watch it as the seasons and years go by, that that the plants get bigger and the flowers get bigger, and just to watch things bloom and go from just a tiny little, stick of nothing to suddenly this huge, flowering rose bush. So,
Okay, thank you so much for letting us interview you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.